know me by now, my name is Satch. This is my Porsche 911 997. It's finished in speed yellow. It's a ground pounding, Prius killing, panty dropping monster, and it's bold as brass. And if you'll give me a few minutes of your time, I'm going to talk you through 10 cheap and easy modifications that you can do on your Porsche 911 997. Let's do business. Alright, so number one on the list is something that's going to make the car altogether look that little bit more aggressive. It doesn't really offer any performance or any aero, but it will, as I say, make the front end of the car look more aggressive. Now, you can see on this car we've got this is the GT3 aero kit, so it does have what they call a front splitter, or you could call it a valance, at the bottom here. Now, on normal cars, I'm not talking about cars which have this fitted. On normal cars with the, say for example, just the C4 or the C2, the bumper kind of comes down to about here, and I think personally it looks a little bit too non-aggressive. So there's a few different options you can buy with regards to splitters, generally costing around about 150 to 200 pounds, and they will make the front end of the car look just that little bit more aggressive. I think they look really fantastic. I've seen a few of my friends have got them on their cars, and they just change the whole appearance of the front of the car. So it's something that I really recommend, and that is modification number one on the Porsche 911. Okay, so we're now on the back of the car, as you can see, and the second modification that we're going to talk about is called the Gundo Hack. The Gundo Hack is something which is going to take your exhaust from a standard sounding sport exhaust to an absolute monster of an exhaust. It sounds like thunder with the Gundo Hack fitted. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Gundo Hack fitted on my car, but what I am going to do is I'm going to start my exhaust and show you what it sounds like without the Gundo Hack. Then I'll put a video on of what the Gundo Hack sounds like, so you can gauge between the two and make an understanding of what the difference is and if it's for you. Now, the Gundo Hack, to be honest, it's probably going to cost you about £200 to get that done. You could probably take it to an exhaust specialist and they could probably do it for you. As I say, £200, £200 to £300 is probably where you're looking at for a Gundo Hack. But in my opinion, it is really, really worth it. I'm going to get it done on this car when I get the chance. So let's hear it without the Gundo Hack first of all. It's a little bit windy, man. Go away, wind. Nobody likes you. All right, so without Gundo Hack. And now let's listen to what it sounds like with the Gundo Hack. Okay, number 3 on the list is what they call the Zunsport Grille kit. That's going to cost you about £200, and this is really important to get. I haven't got it on my car yet, and I'll show you why. Well, no, the reason I haven't got it on my car yet is because I simply haven't got round to it, but it really needs to be higher on my priority list, and I will show you why. Because basically, you've got your radiators here, you've got your radiator there, you've got one behind me, and if you've got the third radiator installed, it will be here. Now, over time, you'll get a lot of leaves, crap, stones in these holes and the openings here, which go straight into where the radiators are. Now, over time, it can damage those radiators, it can cause moisture to build up, it can cause them to rot. So it's really important that this mesh is in place so that it stops any leaves, any stone chippings, any crap from basically getting into those radiators. Let's take a closer look now at my particular grills, and we'll see if we can see any crap which has built up, which it most likely has. All right, so I'm not sure how well you can see that, but actually there's sand in there. You can see sand there, and then you can see a few leaves down the bottom there. This one really isn't too bad. Let's have a look at the other one. Again, we've got sand in there, and you can see stones and a few leaves in there. So what I've been doing so far, there's twigs in there as well. What I've really been doing is I've just been sort of clearing it out from time to time, but I really need to get those grills in there, and that will stop anything that you see there. Obviously, apart from the sand, it would stop all of that from getting in there, and potentially leaving me with a big bill. So obviously I want to avoid that, so I'm going to get the Zunsport grills in there, and I think, as I say, it's about £200. There is a friend of mine who's got them fitted on his, so you can look at what they look like. I should have that on screen now. And that's it. The Zunsport grills is number 3. Okay, so next on the list is what they call the iCarSoft POR2. You can pick this up from Diagnostic World. I'll put the link directly to this kit in the description, in the comments box below. Seeing as we are associated with Diagnostic World now, they are the channel sponsor, it would only be right to demonstrate one of the diagnostic tools that they can provide. Now, this POR2 kit works perfectly on the 997 because it will allow you to diagnose check engine warning lights, ABS traction warning lights, airbag warning lights. It'll allow you to reset oil service warning lights. It really is pretty much an all-round package, and it's fantastic. I've used it personally. It's a great little kit. So this is a modification that we highly recommend here at, well, not here at Diagnostic World, but here at Driver 81, let's say, in association with Diagnostic World. Okay, number 5 on the list is what they call the short shift kit. This is going to cost you about £250, and it's basically only applicable if you've got a manual gearbox. This is applicable whether you've got a 996, 997, 991. The only thing that needs to be in place in your car is the manual gearbox, and it's basically going to, as I say, £250. It's going to allow you to have much shorter throws when you're going through the gears. So obviously, if you've got one, you'll see the amount of play I've got in this one, but it's not really play, it's just the amount of travel, should I say. 4, 5 and 6. So what I'm saying is the short shift kit is probably going to reduce your throws by about 20%. So if I'm in first there, second comes down to neutral, then into second, so it's probably going to bring it down to the neutral point and a tiny bit more. So as you can see, I'd say from there to there, and then the non-short shift kits will take it down there. So it's not massive, it's going to be about 20%. So it's about £250. Short shift kit is definitely the way to go. A motorsport short shift kit is what you're looking for. Okay, next up we're going to be looking at a modification which is costs about £50, and they are called rear spacers, or indeed wheel spacers. In this particular car, I've got spacers on here. We can see we've got 20mm spacers in between the hub and the wheel itself, and what that does is basically allows the wheel to kind of fill the arch. Not so much that it's going to damage the arch if the suspension is dropping and hitting the tyre. However, you should, I don't think I've got any pictures of the car without the rear spacers on, but if I have, you'll be looking at it right now. The wheel kind of sits a little bit further in, well, in fact by 20mm, sits further in, and it just doesn't really give an aggressive sort of wide body appearance. This is a wide body, this is the C4S, so it has the wide body, but it's pointless having a wide body if you've got the wheel sitting inside and not looking really aggressive at all. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter if you've got the wide body or not, the narrow body works just as well, and the narrow body might even work better because it's going to give more of an appearance of a wider body. So £50, 20mm rear spacers on the back of the car. I think that is one of the best modifications you can do with regards to the looks of the car. Alright, so I'm down near the front of the car now. This is number 7 on the list, and it is the clear side repeaters. Now, if you are in USA, if you're in Canada, maybe other parts of the world, I do apologise, I'm not 100% sure, but the indicators or the side repeaters come in an orange flavour. Now, that doesn't look very good. They look much better as clear as you see here. You can get the replacement indicators. They're generally going to cost you about £50, so if you're in America, it may cost you about $70. But I think ultimately they will improve the not the performance, they don't do anything for performance. They improve the looks of the front of the car. It gives it that altogether more of a facelift kind of look and more of a brighter appearance. Easy for me to say with a speed yellow Porsche 911. But that is one of the modifications I would highly recommend. A lot of guys I know who got 997s they do this modification. It's one of the first things they do in the Canadian and America areas. So that's the modification I would do to the side indicators. Get them replaced with clears, get rid of those tacky, yucky orange repeaters. Okay, so number 8 on the list is what we call Redex. Now, according to the packet or the carton of the Redex, what does it do? Well, it saves fuel, it improves the life of your engine, it keeps injectors clean by breaking down and safely removing harmful deposits that build up. Redex also reduces exhaust emissions and helps restore engine performance. So basically, it's going to clean up your emissions, clean your injectors. So we're going to pop it in here and I'll show you how easy it is, really. And what you need to do is basically let that run through the system. And you may well notice a little bit of extra performance. It might feel a little pokier, a little bit more powerful. Can't guarantee it. It only costs about £5 a bottle, so it's got to be worth a try. All the build-up that'll build up in the injectors over the years, it may well just clean those out and give your car just feel like a little bit more pokier. Okay, so we're on the back of the car again. You may notice on this car that this car has no badge on the back here. Well, that's because I've recently taken it off. I had the Carrera 4S badge on the back of mine and the little A snapped off, so I've taken it off completely. I am going to put something new back on there. However, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to put back on there. However, there's a thing you can do called plasti dipping. Now, what it really involves is just basically spraying the badge which is on the back of your car to make it look completely black. Now, it does go, to be honest with you, in my opinion anyways, with the yellow car here. It may not go if you've got a black car, but I think if you've got a silver car, if you've got a red car, probably not a blue car, there's a few other colours that it'll probably go with, but I believe the black badging on the back of the car is the best colour badge you can get. Silver looks okay if you've got maybe a black car, but then again you might not want to go with the chrome effect, so it's all down to personal preference, as I'm sure you already understand. But that is a cheap thing to do, and it's probably only going to cost you about £5. The biggest challenge you'll probably face is getting the badge off. If you damage the badge, you may have to buy a new badge, which might ultimately end up costing you about £25 to £30. Still not the end of the world, but it does look a lot better, as I say, in my opinion, on the back of this car if the back of the badge is what they call plasti dipped in black. Okay, so if you've come this far into the video, I want to thank you for staying with me for this long. We're now on to the 10th and final cheap modification on your Porsche 911 997. We're staying on the back of the car and we're looking at the tail lights. As you can see, the tail lights on this car, we've got the red bottoms and the red surround and the clear centers. That's on both sides. Now, there is a modification you can do, and it's just really a cheap film. Probably costs about £10 to get the film, and what you can do is you can wrap the tail lights in a different color. Now, when I bought this car, the previous owner, he had wrapped these whole headlights in black. So I've taken them off because I like the cleaner, fresher look of the car without the black film on. However, let's take a look at what the car looked like with the black film on, and it's up to you if you can decide as to whether it's for yourself or not. It may work with certain colours. I mean, to be honest with you, I did get a lot of compliments, and when I had them on the yellow car, people said I really like the blackout lights. And I was like, oh yeah, they're okay, and I kept them for about maybe 9 or 10 months into my ownership of the car. However, I wanted to freshen up the look of the car, so I took off the black alloys and I took off the black film. The exhaust pipes there, as you can see, they are still black. So I'm probably going to get them re-chromed at some point anyways. As I say, that's going to cost about £10 to £15 and may or may not improve the looks of your car. So I really appreciate you tuning into this video. I hope it's helped you. Hope it's given you maybe some ideas about what to do with your car if you've just bought the car and you're not quite sure about which direction to take. This car, I'm not saying do them all, I'm just saying it's going to give you a few different ideas about the things you can do for not mega money. Yes, a few of them cost a few £100, some of them cost £5 or £10, but ultimately it's going to give you ideas of what you can do with your car. So I really appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Please, if you can like the video, please if you can subscribe to the channel. You may or may not know that once I get to 100,000 subscribers, I am going to be giving away my Porsche Boxster 986. So that's something to look forward to on the channel. But I do need your help. I do need you to subscribe to this channel. I'll obviously be making lots more videos on this Porsche 911 997. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.